Hey, good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Health Sense right here on 1FM 91.3, supported by Glen Eagles Hospital. Now, the theme for today is Oh Man, where we talk about manly issues. Now, we're dispensing important health advice for viewers who are thinking of running the Standard Chartered Marathon, and we'll also discuss the Movember movement, which is also very, very important for men all over the world.
So our next guest is orthopedic surgeon, Glen Eagles Hospital, Singapore, Dr. Tan Jee Lim. Dr. Tan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Dr. Tan. And remember, if you've got any questions, send it to us via Facebook.
Okay, I'm going to start, before we get into anything else, I'm going to start with this question. There are those who believe that our bodies were never built for running. Our design. Is that true? Or is it false?
Oh, that's a loaded one.
It's a loaded question, but
Yes,
I've heard a lot of people, I'll admit, most of them are very sedentary, but I have heard it.
Are you talking about yourself?
Yeah, well, you know, I like to use the excuse because I've heard it, but is it true?
Of course not.
No, we are built to run.
Well, if you're not built to run and you happen to live in Africa, you belong dead.
You belong dead, yeah, exactly.
So you need to run.
Yeah.
So the question is, how quick can you run and the distance that you're talking about? Obviously, this is the month of November. We're heading to Standard Chartered Marathon, and
Yes.
today's topic is on marathon training.
Yeah.
So the answer is we're built to run, but the distance at which you embark upon, like a 42 kilometers marathon run,
Right.
that is not what we normally built to run.
Okay.
And then you talk about sprinters. You take about Usain Bolt,
Yeah.
okay, 100-meter dash and kind of stuff. So these need training. But in terms of bipedal locomotion, that means on your feet and walk and run and
Yeah.
jog a bit, yes, you're built to run.
We are built, our bodies
We
are
are built to
take
run.
that.
The development of the different muscle joints and kind of stuff to lower the impact when you run. Remember Jolie Butt? She used to run bare feet, and
Yes,
one time
yes,
you studied
yeah,
whole
yes.
movement, and then you have shoes. So yes, we are made to run. You can run very long. Your feet, the skin of the sole is different from that of the other part. For one thing, there's no hair. Okay, you have a little bit of cushion and kind of stuff, and that help you.
Okay.
So we are, in evolutionary terms, adapted to run.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have grown to run. Okay. So
Right.
I have no excuse.
You have no
now.
excuse now. Yeah.
I have no
There we go.
excuse.
You got to get up and run. I know.
Okay.
About your
And-
special body.
All right, there we go.
And I have no doubt that the Kenyans who are winning all the marathons around the
Yeah.
world right now, if you take away their shoes, they would still win.
They'd still win the marathons. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. The other question I have, before I hand you over to Glenn, who's got 10,001 questions, is stretching before running.
Yeah.
Some people say stretching before running isn't a good thing because you relax your muscles too much. Where
Okay.
do we stand on that?
Okay, so there was a big debate in the sport community about stretching before or after you run, so cold stretch. So there are two kinds of stretching before you run, a cold stretch and a warm stretch. Yeah? A cold stretch means the muscle and the tissues are cold, so you are just walking up to your start point, you do a couple of stretches, and then you start to run. So those are useful as a wake-up call to the system, the joints and the bones, as well as the muscles and tendons, to kind of get ready for the action.
Okay.
You don't want to start sprinting straight away. That would be not the ideal situation.
Right.
But you don't want to push too much because then you can run the risk of microscopic tears and you push strains and kind of stuff.
Right.
On the other hand, it will be ideal after a round or two where you get into a light sweat, where you find that you're a bit warm up, you step aside and do your stretch out. You will notice there's a big difference between the two stretches. Glenn might want to chip in at this point because then you warm up. Then you find that you can reach a bit further, your muscles are more pliable, your
Right.
joint tendons are better. That would be a good point to really give it a nice stretch and go.
Okay.
The third point of stretch will be after your run. We all will go to the pub, have a drink.
Yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
Have a good chat, buddy.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you are really, really warm up now. The whole system is on the go.
Okay.
So that's where you need to step aside, do a nice cool down stretch. That the body is warm, you stretch it, you prevent a lot of injuries going that way.
Okay.
So in my practice, you see two groups of people, one who is very flexible, they hardly come for strains and sprains. And then the other group are the very stiff guys. You know, some of these guys that you see like, you know, these are the guys that tend to get strains because they are not flexible. So in other words, pliable, flexible muscles are very useful and very helpful in preventing injuries, where stiff are not. So it's good to stretch, and therefore remember a warm stretch and a cool down stretch. Right.
Okay.
It's useful.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of my friends now have either gone into yoga or Pilates.
Yeah.
They do it like
Yes.
twice a
Yes.
week.
Yeah.
And I think it's helping them a lot.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm sure you would recommend, you know, people to stretch a little bit more.
Oh yes, I'm a big fan of it. Okay, I first picked up Pilates way back in '98 when I'm doing my postgrad in Canada, and that's where I first learned about Pilates. Now,
And
Pilates,
it's not easy. It's not.
oh yeah, you need focus. It's a deeper set of the core muscle, the abdominal that you're working on. Yoga, Pilates are fundamentally different. Okay, yoga is talking about there are 8 pillars of yoga. And we all talk about the physical pillar. That's all we want.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the mental dimension. We don't talk about all this, right? So those stretches are kind of general, okay? And in some sense, yoga pre-select the people who are going to be good at yoga. Yogis tend to be double jointed.
Okay.
If you're stiff like me, you're not going to make it.
Okay.
So the word I have out there to the audience is know your body, don't overdo it. There's some of these things, some maneuvers are technically challenging. You can touch and go, but I won't want you to overstretch because my patient includes some from yoga because they overdone it, they sprain something and they come to see us for it. Pilates is different. Pilates started from Joseph Pilates, who is basically a physiotherapist from Germany who actually went over to New York and he saw the ballerinas in the New York Ballet who had a lot of problem in the back. So he devised a whole set of exercises using the thing called reformer.
Right.
Okay? Springs and stuff to strengthen the core stability. The analogy I can give you, if you think of a Michelin Man tire, you know the Michelin Man. So you have the trunk, where you have the upper part where it's the arms, the lower part with the leg, the midriff where it's a core. Think of that being moving all over the place. Now, if you have a mid section that's not coordinating the top and the bottom, you run into sprains and strain in your lower back.
Right.
So you know the ballet when they do this pointe, they lift the leg up, it all looks so simple, right?
Yeah.
It's all coordinated. Okay? You look at the gymnast who do the Roman ring, he sticks his leg up, that is core stability. So the upper limb got to control, the lower limb come up, the mid section got to control it. They got to coordinate this. That is control. Okay? So that you need a very strong core. Other word, hardcore.
So you see, that's the importance of conditioning.
Conditioning.
So we're talking about, you know, marathons and how people get injured and all that. I think that's what, you know, the doctor has just said. You know, conditioning is so very, very important. Because I was about to ask you, doctor, what are some of the typical injuries that, you know, people who prepare for marathons, you know, go through? From your experience, what have you seen?
Okay, so marathon goes into the realm of the endurance sports. Okay, most of the injuries that come is versus rugby, the World Cup just finished, you had a great game, or American football, which is, well, for the lack of, it's an impact sport, for lack of a better word, some call it collision sport, you basically run with each other. So marathon, triathlon, and all these are endurance sports. So you tend to get overused injuries.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You overuse a particular part in the case of marathon, we'll focus on it, then a lower limb. So the feet, the knee joint, the hip, these are the common areas of injuries. I brought some models, I'll bring it up and perhaps discuss it. So one of the things that we see a lot is the runner's heel, also known as plantar fasciitis, impacted. Okay, so you see this spot around here, this red spot. So that is a repeated impact. Okay, so it's due to most of the time it's due to overwork of the lower limb, the calf muscles and the tightness. We talk about stretching. So this is critical. Okay. This is where this guy, if you look at it on the camera, this thing runs up to the different digits. We call it digit, the big toe and the little toe. So they all coordinate to give you the spring when you toe off. So when you run, you have huge stride, got mid stance, and then you toe off, right? So when you do that, this is pulling on it, and this is the Achilles tendon where the calf muscle comes. They give you the spring. So this whole thing works as a unit to give you the propulsion. And marathon is all about propulsion, right? So therefore, overuse injury, huge stride, and overpulling tend to give you a plantar fasciitis. So these people will tell you, I have heel pain, I wake up in the morning, I can't put my foot down, it's sore. That in the early stages, they have, well, pain for a couple of steps, I'm good to go. But then in the more severe stages, then they have persistent pain for the rest of the day. So these are plantar fasciitis. And the word, as the saying goes, prevention is better than cure, stretch. What should you do? You should stretch. So the kind of stretch is you put your big toe up against the wall, and then you lean the whole body up, keeping your knee straight. You feel the stretch in your hamstring and your calf.
Right.
But that is a useful thing to prevent it.
Okay.
The other one is that you get a lot of stress fractures. Stress fractures on the second bone, on the different part of the heel, calcaneum, we call it bone, the heel bone, the calcaneum. You get stress fractures. And part of the reason is people get too enthusiastic. They get into the mojo, they get the big momentum, it's good, I'm feeling great after a run. I'm like, it's so good, buddy, let's do it again. But you got to understand that you have just gone through a lot of stress. And these guys need to recover.
Okay.
You have microscopic little breaks in the bone or the muscles and tendons as you run. You need to incorporate rest. You need to allow a day of rest where this thing recover. So stress fracture come when you cumulatively break a bit of bone, and then one fine day there's a crack.
Okay.
There we go. And then what's next? You knock on my door, I see you, and I say, you know, Flying Dutchman FD, you got to stop for a while, buddy. And you look at me like, hey, no way.
See, the problem is you will never say that to me because I never got going in the first
Well,
place.
you never know. One of these days I might see you, right? But anyway, you fly, so you might know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, but anyway, so the takeaway message to the audience will be, first, I think you got to give yourself time to run.
Yeah,
Everybody start at different point.
right.
Like I heard Glenn mention earlier, he run about 5-10 clicks,
Yeah.
sometimes 15. He starts from a different base from me, for example, which I hardly run,
Right.
for example, okay? So the time prep for a marathon will be vastly different between him because he started 15-kilometer mark and I'm
Yeah.
starting at, say, ground zero.
Right.
So therefore, give yourself time. Two, more often than not, it's the speed in which you accelerate your running. Okay, I run 5 clicks today, I feel good, tomorrow I'm going to go 10, okay? Now that is exactly 100% increase.
Right, yeah.
That is not good. Because if you do it consecutively, that's where stress injury come in. You get stress fractures, you get stress injury, plantar fasciitis, you pull your tendon, you pull your muscle. So these are overuse, cumulatively without incorporating rest. So then the question is, how much is the safe rate to go? I would say about 10% over a period of 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, 10%. Conservative, but safe. A lot of time, just before marathon, that's where my peak season come. All these kind come knocking to my door.
Yeah.
I hurt my foot.
Yeah.
I can't run. My shin hurt. Shin splint?
Shin splints. Yeah.
Shin splint, stress fracture. The first thing that we want to rule out is the stress fracture of the
Okay.
shin. And this is, of course, overuse. So then we do a scan, MR, we do a physical examination, and indeed you have a stress fracture. You can't run, buddy. You got to stop.
And how long would that stress fracture take to heal then?
Well, it'll take you about, on the safe side, probably it would take you away for about a month, 6 weeks. So if you're listening to the program right now, which you're going to go on air about
Yeah.
a week before the marathon, you're just going to wave goodbye.
Yeah, you're not running.
Okay? So this is where I like to tell the audience, be realistic. We talk about listening to the body. I think that's very important. The pace in which you increase is important. Okay? I like to look at endurance sport, and well, I basically look at all kinds of sports, injuries in my practice, as a snake and ladder game. You know, play the game before,
Yeah,
snake and
yeah,
ladder?
yeah.
We all love the ladder. Zoop, zoop, zoop.
Yeah.
Game over. But we forget about the snake. When you hit a stress injury, it's like hitting a snake. You go back to square one, like, shock. Are you
Okay.
kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm feeling so good. Some of these guys are just very fit, but the skeletal system can't take the stress. So I think we got to balance it.
Right.
We talked about our heart earlier. Now we talk about the musculoskeletal system. We need to strike a balance.
You know, and we've only been talking about marathons.
I know.
What about the people who are going for the Ironman marathon?
They must be it must be,
Yeah, I know,
the stress on their skeletal system must be
It almost,
five
It's different.
It almost
Okay.
makes them look superhuman.
Yeah.
Okay, from the perspective of use, I would say then the triathlon guy wear it out, even it out. because so bike is a non-impact, swimming is non-impact. So the only one that they have, the Ironman, is the marathon part, right? Or you take the Olympic distance. The marathon is pure lower limb. You don't swim,
Yeah.
you don't bike.
Yeah.
So it's pure impact. Now, when you walk, the impact on the lower limb, meaning the feet, like
I was about to ask you about that one.
Yeah.
the knees. Well, this is what happened to you when you come to see me, right? There's something broken.
This
Anyway,
is what I have, I think.
is that right? Okay. So the impact that go through your joint when you walk is 2 times your body weight.
Two
And when
times.
2 times. When you run, it's 5 times your body weight.
Wow.
When you jump, it's 7 times. They go pop, 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 pop. So, this is another thing. So, if your average stride is 1 meter,
Yeah.
a kilometer is 1,000 meters. Well, take mine, about 800 to 1,000 steps.
Yeah.
42 kilometers, figure that out.
That's crazy.
And you don't really start bang 42 kilometers when you first go. You accumulate. On average, to hit a 42 kilometer, you would have clocked 500 to about 1,000 kilometers training before you're going to hit a 42. Get that mathematics into your head.
Wow.
Okay? So therefore, conditioning, okay, build it up over time. The body adapts. It's a beautiful machine. The body is a beautiful machine. Which man-made machine lasts you 80 years without needing to change your tires?
Right.
How many
That's
pairs of
true.
shoes have you run? Have you changed?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
the body is repair itself. It's a wonderful machine, but don't abuse it. And don't expect your machine to be an on-off switch where you switch on, switch off, and I'm ready to go. No, it doesn't
Yeah.
work that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so adapt, condition, build up, give a plan, be realistic about it, pace yourself. I think that's very important. And the other thing is that the triathlon, I think it's a good endurance exercise where you even out the odds and just not running. Okay, so yeah, but I think all these are good cardio workout for the whole system.
That's quite amazing. Just thinking of 500 to 1,000 kilometers to get ready for 42.
Right.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah, and you mentioning jumping just now. That's how I injured my knee.
Yep.
I was playing basketball. I jumped up. I came down. I heard a click.
A pop,
My-
and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it. I haven't gotten it fixed, but I know I have problems moving laterally these days. So it's probably an ACL tear or something like that. But I haven't.
Most probably. So
Maybe I should see you, doctor.
you're most welcome. Now, I will touch on this and then I'll talk about fat people or, obese.
You don't
who
have to point at me when you.
No, I wasn't pointing. Was it?
Okay. I'm only kidding.
Okay, the ACL, you can be active without an ACL. Okay. Things that need an ACL will be cutting, pivoting sport, basketball, soccer, rugby, contact, any ball game. Anything that needs to change direction, you need the ACL.
Yeah.
So therefore, what can I do without an ACL? You can go a bicycle. You can enjoy the road race.
Swimming?
Yep, swim, but not breast, free, fly, back.
Right.
Free fly back. Okay.
Okay. Running, yes, but you will have the jarring action a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Rowing machine.
Okay.
You can go red dragon boat. I don't really care. You can canoe. Doesn't matter to me. So you can still be active if you want to. But if you say that, look, I want to play ball games, any ball, except one. I've been corrected one. I said no ball game. My patient corrected me. Doc, you're wrong.
Golf.
Nope. Golf, you need to pivot. You need to twist, right? And your left, right? You mentioned your left.
Yeah.
So there's the leading leg. You need to twist.
That's why I'm so bad at golf.
Now we
That's a good
know. We
alibi.
can always blame it on your leg.
Billet, pool.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, got it
okay.
on?
Okay.
So
Got
it's
it.
Like, okay,
Got it.
you got it right. Okay.
Cool.
So I'll move to the people who want to lose weight, weight management.
Yes.
Then I don't think you should start with running. You should do something like low impact, bicycle, rowing machine, and kind of stuff. Simply for the fact that every step you run is 5 times your body weight at impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
I know.
ideal weight is 50.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, my finger.
No. But I feel that when I walk, because I have got a big tummy and I can feel
Yeah,
every single
Yeah,
step.
you've got nothing wrong with your knees. We're talking
That's
about
true,
people
yeah.
who have
No, but even
problems with their knees.
even with my knees, I feel pressure. So imagine someone who has a
Yeah.
problem.
So if you're overweight, then the last thing you want, your doctor tells you you're overweight, you need to lose weight. Go and do some sport. The last thing you want to do is hit the path running, because that doesn't work out. So what's the biggest animal on earth? There's a cue for you guys, man. Question.
The biggest animal?
Animal on earth.
The elephant.
That's good. That's on land.
Oh,
It's actually a whale, right?
The whale.
Oh, I see.
Where do
Yeah.
all the whales live? In the
Water.
For a reason.
Okay.
So my advice to the audience, if you're looking at weight management, BMIs are 28, 30s
Yeah.
and beyond, hit a pool, bicycle, rowing machine. This will be good for you. So that eventually, when you're ready, you can go and run and enjoy some ball games.
Right.
Because then your knees are not buckled, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
you don't really
right.
want to like, okay, doc, I'm ready, but my knee hurt.
Yeah. I hit the elliptical machine these days.
Yeah, they are good. Yeah, they're good. So elliptical, ACL deficient, yeah, it's good. And then, people overweight, nice.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us. I am overweight. I know what to do now.
There we go.
Thank you
All right,
very much.
thank you.
Thank
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3.